The BBC Media Action, they bring Cantona, Tok Bot Salone.
Saloma. Let we Tok Bot Salone because now we own it, no place like home. Yeah. Government of the people and by the people and for the people.
Democracy.
Now you right for talk.
Yes.
And me simple talk. Government simple talk. Let we debate too.
Yes.
For the betterment of Salone. Let we Tok Bot Salone.
November 23, 2012, President Nkrumah win the election with 58% of the total valid vote cast. This gave him the power for going with a 5-year development plan, weighing at the agenda for prosperity. The agenda for prosperity na document where they believe say they make the way for make Salone go turn middle income country for human development like China, Russia, South Africa, Mexico, and plenty other countries them na the world by 2035. But as the president don't take 3 years inside this in second term, we they ask how far they don't go with the agenda for prosperity and whether they go able for deliver. This na Tok Bot Salone, the BBC Media Action radio debate. Me na Ali Usise.
Forget peace to be right, so that Salone the future go bright. Let we Tok Bot Salone because now we own it, no place like home. Yeah.
Today, within a YWCA and conference hall inside Brookfields na Freetown, we get with we Abdoulaye Berete, the National Coordinator Office of the Government Spokesman. We get Honorable Paran Tarawali, Opposition Member of Parliament na Constituency 69 inside Bo District. Welcome to the program. And we also get Andrew Lavalley, the Executive Director, Institute of Governance Reform. Welcome to the program. We'll start the discussion direct. And I'll start with you, Abdoulaye Berete. Now, inside the agenda for prosperity, 2 more years for the President Nkrumah in second term na office done. How far would they with this document?
The agenda for prosperity, as you all know, in economic terms, they can call them the poverty reduction strategy paper. But every country can choose how you want to call them. The first one, where we came to governance in 2007, we call them an agenda for change. After we come in 2012, President call them agenda for prosperity. Before that, and the president been get a very simple message. He say, "Una know waiting. Elections and power not to a question of life and death." He say, "But if una believe say the agenda for change, it not succeed 100%, but at least it succeed to some extent. If una believe say I don't work, una believe say if una put me inside, I go able to do more, President say una vote for me." Now that make he able get a first past the post ballot with a comfortable 58.7%. Where we come, the first thing what we do, where we be done come 2008, we be done strengthen the Anti-Corruption Commission. We say, okay, now we move forward. Now him will try, America be established one thing where they call the Millennium Challenge Corporation, the MCC. But that MCC, they for let you pass them, one of the imperatives, which means a compulsory thing where you for pass, now the perception of corruption. Because they no go one count then couple where people and feel say this money are government officials and other people and they can't eat them. But we, because we don't move forward, we try for the first time in the history of a country since they established the MCC in 2004. Sierra Leone qualify a move from a threshold to a compact way for don't give we over $500 million when a free money for can help a country. But again, you get people in the world, then think tanks and then call them like Transparency International. Then we can do a survey, now then find out say, Sierra Leoneans then get a perception say, corruption day in Sierra Leone. So that they make not pass that imperative day. But the MCC board, they say, well, they don't see say government, they make efforts in the fight against corruption, then say we no go dreb una go still will work with una, Lord we see how una they improve. And the good news is, like the Anti-Corruption Commission in 2014 alone, all the cases them we then can go win a corruption, then win all 100%. So that don't show say we they make progress. But we not still qualify for the compact. But Americans then come just 2 weeks ago, then say una government who see say una committed in the fight against corruption. So they don't give we $44.4 million. Then say follow we improve electricity and water business in the country. So that now one big achievement we think say we're for proud of as a country.
And this all now inside the agenda for prosperity.
This all now part of our agenda for prosperity. We tied up to the fight against corruption.
All right, like and with Honorable Parent Sarawali, you represent the only opposition party in the House of Parliament. Now, you don't wait ability, don't say. We look at the agenda for prosperity. 3 years don't go, and 2 more years for go. Who you go see, or who you feel say within now with this particular document in terms of development?
If we look at the agenda for prosperity and assess what it achieved over the last 3 years, I go say it's so broad. So if I look at the 8 pillars here, I go one look at them one after the other. But I know say time no go there for going into details. So make I just begin look at most important. Make I look at the economy. Under economic diversification, when are the economy of Sierra Leone? You see, when you talk say economic prosperity they happen. When you say economically Sierra Leone they advance, not upon paper and pen. Most times when they say then don't rate Sierra Leone say we are the fastest growing economy. In the very first place, I just want to correct that. We not the fastest growing economy in the world. We are the fastest growing economy within the nations where the IMF and World Bank rate as most deplorable and most backward. So in the most deplorable and most backward nations, at least Sierra Leone don't they move. As an opposition member of parliament, I go attest to that. Say, indeed, Sierra Leone don't they move economically. But the question for ask yourself, this economic movement, is it translated to the people? Because where economy they grow, now you belay the feel. Where economy they grow, now you multi the feel. Where economy they grow, now you body the feel. If you say Sierra Leone economy don't grow, that rest way been they buy yesterday, for example, 16,000 leons per bag. That earning power we been getting yesterday for able to buy 3-4 bags of rice. This time, if the economy don't grow, you forget an earning power for buy 6-7 bags of rice. But if yesterday you been they buy 2-3 bags of rice, where the economy not been grow, then now the economy don't grow for even buy 1 bag of rice, no problem. Then me and you for begin the ask yourself, which kind of growth this economy get? I just want to say, we economy in growth, it only felt on paper. But to the individual Sierra Leonean, when for that economy for grow, we are still stagnated.
All right.
You come to infrastructure. Infrastructural development is of international competitiveness. We also want to compete internationally. So therefore, we build up with infrastructure. Yes, indeed, the APC is an infrastructure-oriented government. Nobody no go take that from them. But you know within, when you want to do something, make sure say you not waste the people's money. If you they do A, then you take so much money for do A at the expense of B, then you they wreck the nation. Within they say, there are 2 things we need for note here strongly. Infrastructurally, APC government, they waste a lot of money. In other words, take a simple Wilkins Road. Up to date, what they talk to you now, Wilkins Road don't cost $29 million. That makes it the most expensive road on earth. You also come to the aspect of not wastage now, but how you distribute infrastructural development. Me fumble them, I want to maintain something clearly. The national bread basket of Sierra Leone belongs to every Sierra Leonean, irrespective of tribe or region. But look at infrastructural development as we talk currently. Might just take roads, because that not take on our time too much. Roads. Now take a simple example. The entire southern province of Sierra Leone, southern province of Sierra Leone, has 29 kilometers of township roads. Pujon get 5. Bont get 10. That is Matru 5, Bont Town 5. Moyamba get 5. Bo City, which is the second city of Sierra Leone, get 9. That is 29 kilometers of roads for the entire southern region. Take Bombali district as one district. Forget about the entire district. Take Makeni Township. Has 31 kilometers of roads. So what are you telling us? Are you telling us Makeni Township is more important than the entire southern region of Sierra Leone when it comes to infrastructural development? Or are you telling us that the second city of Bo, which is the second capital of this city, only deserves 9 kilometers of road? Then Rokupru, which is a village, deserves 10.
Okay.
Mambolo, which is a village, deserves 14.
All right.
So you begin to imagine say, there is disparity in even the distribution of
I will come back to you to continue the discussion. I want to go over to Andrew Lavalley from IGR, Institute of Governance Reform. Now, the issue of the agenda for prosperity, 3 years don't go, 2 more years. Also, you think, say, we did as a civil society?
Yes, thank you very much. Me, Fambule, and John Alona join me because, you know, APC won't win the next election, SLPP won't win the next election. Both parties won't win the next election, but we want to win the next generation. We want to secure the future. We want to secure the future of this country. So now that make it very important at this time. Lord forget about green, Lord forget about red, Lord put Sierra Leone at the center and discuss them. Let all prosper together. Let all better together. The agenda for prosperity, like how people and talk, it don't achieve something, it don't fail something them. It really strong on the hardware aspect. Honorable Param don't talk a lot about the hardware. I know I repeat them. But believe me, I know I comment on the cost. If you at any time I did take me motocar from the office now Wilkinson Road to your building, yeah, I dey feel good. I dey ride on the good road. There are concerns about the cost. If you go to Boku rural areas, you dey see banks, small community banks, and they come up. We are moving in terms of economic diversification. Where they fly out at the camp, I know say not to show the airport there anymore. We are growing in terms of how we look externally. We don't discover new minerals. We exploit new minerals. How do they translate into lives now another thing? But the most important thing, just after Ebola, just yesterday, the IMF published a paper. It says Sierra Leone don't drop by 23.5% to be exact, economic growth. So really, I just want to correct you, not to the fastest growing, not the fastest declining economy, which is very serious. This is very serious because Liberia and Guinea been get Ebola. Will not get really an excuse why would they decline. But let me explain. Whilst the agenda for prosperity is very good in terms of hardware, I think say the side way President Nkrumah in the remaining 2 years of in time we need for improve on now in the area of governance. Mr. Berete talk about corruption. And indeed we need for talk about corruption. Because, and Mr. Berete, let I just correct something. Sierra Leone actually failed the MCC. We were not rewarded. We actually failed the MCC. Last ranking, we win 12 out of the 20 indicators for the MCC. This time, we drop to 7. And worst of all, small thing them. You know why I say a lot of focus on Sierra Leone, on ourselves? How much government they spend on me and you two picking them?
That's now within the education.
Me and you to education. How much government they because actually the money where they spend on your household, in your health care, and you picking the education, nine are you. All of these things are highfalutin. Lord, forget about that. You understand that? That money where they spend on health care and education. I come from a poor rural school teaching family. But today I can come on now to go work in Accra because they invest in my education. If education fail this country, we are doomed. We failed the MCC because we failed in investment in girl child education. How, for goodness sake, would they spend 9% of revenue, waiting all NRA they collect, 9% now they spend in healthcare, education, water, and sanitation? You know why? Because if they force you to spend in health, education, water and sanitation, you dey get little scope for go buy, water gun for police. What do you buy water gun for police? Would have expert would in this country here? We are living in peace. So the question, the first thing, the investment, then we don't make. The next one, revenue management. Param don't talk a little about revenue management. We don't get iron ore, we don't get rutile, we don't get bauxite. The other day I've been doing a Kono at the Yeri Octia mining. Octia mining, it again your challenges. But Sierra Leone, since 1930, we discover diamonds at Kono. What is actually happening at the diamond industry? Mr. Berete talked about some scores, them international scores. Yes, we get some international, but let's just take through some international scores quickly. One, the Afrobarometer. You get the Mo Ibrahim, you get the Transparency International, you get the Freedom House. It talk about contraction of civic space, but a big word and the way that they mean. The way people then get voice, trade, like when musicians they talk say, they sing about this, like when journalists, then they publish it say about the civic space don't they go down. The civic space don't they contract. You know they see then they arrest any journalist. Me, I don't know how which kind of trick done they need to arrest any journalist, but the civic space don't contract. So now that's that freedom I would say. The second one, Transparency International in 2013, it talks say 83% of Sierra Leoneans, the way you meet them in the street, they talk say they don't accept bribe. And that one, they not just government alone. For that, say, law put yourself at the center. For many police officers you meet in the street, if you get crime, you go park in the street small. They charge you in a court. They ask you for 50,000 yuans, or they ask you for 20,000 yuans. Now, only way, they're not talking about perceptions on corruption. The MCC will fail them because of control of corruption. It's not about whether corruption, they will tell you corruption or not they, but we fail on control of corruption. So the last one are the Afrobarometer. The Afrobarometer. In the Afrobarometer, 89% of Sierra Leoneans, they say they're not satisfied with their democracy. This is not to IGR they talk. 89% of Sierra Leoneans, they say they're not satisfied with their democracy. And they're not satisfied with their democracy because you see some language than they were inside the governance land. Like for example, the Yeri bought more time. That's quite undemocratic. Where president in a power, for like even say the president if or reduce in term by 1 year, it's treasonable. So for like even talk about say the extend in term, it's unconstitutional. So all that thing and they when they talk. So all that thing and they when they talk now the more than they talk say the democracy don't go down. And let me just end with the MP them. Maybe civil society get for engage you now more on this whole question of more time. I thank you very much.
And now we take question from the one that we deny so.
Anem fala en Sandema, mina being journalist now I depend civil society business. I they talk about something we affect we all: fuel, petrol, kerosene, and diesel. When petrol price been the $120 for barrel, we been the buy petrol and diesel and the other thing then 4,500. When it go between $60 and $80, we been the buy and them bring and down to 3,750. From September it don't go to $48. It even don't pass that one day. Still with the buy am 3,700. That's now about September, October, November. Would they go nearly into 3 months? It's still if it been go up past that day, like they don't raise the price. Waiting me, where would they talk about agenda for prosperity? Where would they talk about agenda for prosperity and for make people them like Honorable Param in the talk? Let them feel and we belly. Let some money come back to we when things then happen, so that we go able for let we able for buy clothes for we picking them, let we able for pay for we picking them. Now waiting make for 3 months, petrol price don't go to $48, where in fact we supposed to be 1,800 leons per liter. 10 hours will not get here to the buy 3,700. The second thing is, they talk about natural resources. We all know say some company them can EDAC, suck fin, this, that, and so on and so forth. In fact, if you go na Pujang, then don't take nearly the people then land them all. Waiting make the Ministry of Agriculture and the police and other people them, they support them company them against the people them to the extent that when they go for take the people them land, they say no, we not agree for let them take them. The people them, then they hold them, then they bring them the police and they charge them and so on and so forth. Waiting make, then they do that one day. That one they not go able for make for let we all gentry. The people them now take them, they take from them instead of them give them. For one whole acre of land, then they give people them $5. When until wait on the 40 years, they get for another 100 years. Waiting make, then they do that one day. This is not to agenda for prosperity. We want something where we go feel now we belly, like how the honorable talk, we will feel now we close, we will go able for get money for pay for picking them school fee.
Thank you very much. All right, let's address that first one day before we go to another question. Let's start with the last part of one. Fala answered the man in question where we talk about the minerals, you know. This forced me for add something on top down there, ask with natural resources, what that the benefit?
Well, the natural resources of the state, not forget, say Sierra Leone, na a country where na a raw producer of raw materials. We not get factory, like other countries, then where you pull the diamond, you they get a polishing factory where the benefits we here. We depend on exports. That exports the price in the international market is being determined by market forces. Now, coming to the minerals, one thing we I know is, as part of with transparency, as part of with membership in the extractive industry transparency initiative, the EITI, you know, say at one point we been get problem, we then suspend Sierra Leone. Then restore we, because now we get a website where first time the corporate social responsibility, and we can't tell you say, they don't go pay 100 million to the people. Now, with the public, all the corporate, the way they pay to government, who that they receive on behalf of the community all day. So
okay,
that
this
the end
like the corporate social responsibility, we go say, nothing we then go just out of their own do for the people them. But let's look at some of the tax them. Like for example, I'll take for example Kono, where you get Octia now, for almost here now, they don't pay tax. They're supposed to pay tax to the local council within that area, but now they need even pay tax. How the government can look into that, because all of these get for those the mining or the natural resources where the people for the benefits from.
Well, I'm sure if you get for pay rent, like any business entity, if you default, they go after you. Even government agencies then. I'm sure you are aware, say, even NRA, don't go now, even the Sierra Leone Airport Authority. Then go close them place because they not pay tax. That don't tell you, say, even government institutions and they pay. And the town council don't take action. But I want to speak again directly to the issue about the economy for filling your pockets. Now, only when you manage the economy well in a crisis situation, you go able to triumph. For instance, now only in this economy, other countries, them, we know what happened there when they compare about Guinea and Liberia. We still continue, even though we keep this country as a result of the Ebola, we still able to pay people them. Up to last September 1, when we don't say they increase salaries 15% to public workers them, we do them as a government. Why we do that? Because when you look at the economic forces them, you look at inflation, you look at the chain of demand and supply, you get for coming, you restore the rest to these forces them, you say the minimum wage, you legislate them, we been there 21,000, who don't make until law say, it will be minimum 500,000. So all these are some of the things you do for let it reflect on the lives of the people.
So lastly, let's go to the first question we ask on the fuel.
The fuel gets its own dynamic. Every country, even when you go down the last term, the price for Sierra Leone, Liberia, Guinea, Canada, US, all different.
So
and the reason we make it different, before the fuel go down, governments be they subsidize. I don't know if you know that. Would they pay billions of leones to the suppliers them, the importers them, for subsidize? We say, well, this now that fuel they go down, let governments pull that subsidy there, so that we know what they pay for people where they carry on. We do that one day for let the economic shocks then reduce after the war particularly. But now that we say, okay, if we go down, they remove the subsidies them. So they left for now into a demand and supply forces them where they come for determine the world prices them.
But this I don't think say it go in the interest of the ordinary people because it's just natural for say if it been go up now the world market, the price for don't go up.
Well,
but
now
now
that
that
make
it
will be
don't can down,
subsidized.
for don't put pressure again for let them make like a can down.
Well, now that make will be the subsidized.
No, even now when I don't they subsidize, you know, the price they can down. Where the can down is supposed for can down for reflect.
When a condom, the reason we make will be even put will be one put down to 3,800, 3,600. We call economic stream from finance ministry. They all come. We call people them from the World Bank, IMF. We all see them as a country. They're able to come with the predictability. Now that make you even see say iron ore. What it makes Sierra Leone economy? It been there as a very comfortable 11.4 GDP growth rate. But forces then they way they beyond government. Number one, look like where the price of iron ore it go down. Where it go down, it is beyond government in control. It is been determined by international market forces. Okay. So in that case, you come just now, you say, okay, you know waiting, law we can't subsidize again. Then later, when the price shoots up, you say, law push her up back. Then it gets in your implications. Right. So for now, with the left and left market forces then determine the price.
So if you go up, you know, go up back, eh?
Well, it is beyond government in control. Just like what I tell you, more iron ore.
Andrew Lavalley.
Yes, quickly, I think say, you see, if we honest in this country, with growth and prosperity in the day they begin. I just wish, you know, for let society grow, a lot of people, at least 50% of the country, get for be educated. Because when they become educated, then people go left for life and them. Well, the point to me they make, the Ebola management, I just want to correct that quickly. 3 countries, then, Sierra Leone, Guinea, and Liberia, they affected by Ebola. The strategy where Sierra Leone take for end Ebola is different from the other 3 countries. Then, now here we get blanket state of emergency for a year. In fact, it's been extended. When you get state of emergency, you know what they mean? It crumble the economy. In fact, Ebola, the state of the regulations will make it crumble the economy past Ebola self. Now that make where World Bank do the assessment of Sierra Leone, Guinea, and Liberia, they say inside Sierra Leone, Ebola affects this country past the other 3 countries. You know why? Because when you make state of emergency, you say, you know for ride bike after 6 o'clock. You that mean hundreds of thousands of young people and you don't pull it out of job. Because you can get 1 person, 1 motorbike, you get 3 people that can ride them. If you talk, say, people they're not for talk about things then, or they're not for make don't go sell them, market them. You know what they mean? That means that woman they in economy they go. We do one survey where they show say household economies, in fact, them plummet past, then go down past government in your economy. So me, I believe say the politics, now we they put too much inside on top of development. Now that's the problem. Until and unless, and I want to say this to Mr. Berete, we know say government gets limitations. We know understand the problems that we government they face. If find some of them things, Lord discuss as Sierra Leoneans, let us talk the truth. They will be able to support. We mean any day are ready for support government because where President Nkrumah succeed, they succeed. If he fail, they fail. If that president they succeed, at the South Africa, they say Mr. Lavalley, president they come, he's the most successful president after in term. And they feel good, irrespective of whose party you vote for. Let us be open, let us speak the truth, let's speak the challenges. They will go able to resolve and go forward as a country.
All right. Briefly, Honorable Paran.
Yeah, to me, the question where Mr. Ensadema asked, very important. These are issues where have been raised, but like Mr. Berete been they come in for defend. But it is true. If fuel be not go down in the world market, why enough will be reflected on we? I don't tell you about this economy. This is not an economy about micro or macroeconomics. Not an economy about the GDP or the YWP. Now economics about the belly, the mouth, and the body. Simple. You they ask questions. Those wait for answer, not the answer. Make I tell you, there is impunity built in society. Currently, make I tell you, those people who ought for do something, not they do. And this country, in above case, we don't see them. You not even go understand. Make I just give you an example. Last year, we get Ebola. So therefore, no supplementary budget, no parliament. And nobody know they authorize expenditure from the consolidated fund of this country past parliament. But you understand, if I tell you something, you will not believe it. Last year alone, government authorized more than 15 billion leons of we money where it not come through parliament. They begin to imagine who gave government that particular authority for authorized expenditure when not to parliament.
Then at the start of this program, you talk say Unana Parliament gets a right for ask for any document or question for letting answer to Una. Now they Una can inside.
That is it. Now because I asked for the document, now I make a authoritatively tell you say last year alone, the government of Sierra Leone authorized more than 15 billion leons when not come through parliament.
All right,
this is not the wastage we have been talking about. And therefore, if that happen, you know what thing they happen at this country? It means say me and you not secure. Because the money where me and you get, when are the Sierra Leone money, the only way for pull and expend them, now where parliament, where now we this. Because parliament is the people where we agree, so for expend them.
All right, let's take more questions.
Thank you very much, Famulem na Cabo. Me na Doris Fatima Weber at Sapna Watalo Community, Director for Women's Advocacy and Agricultural Development Organization, WADO for short. I want to look inside the well body business. Me na woman. I know what it mean where woman they go for go born. I know what it mean where under 5 speaking, then they die. A champion the cause of the fight against Ebola inside my district. Half of the population where them beg na the Ebola grave na Watalo, Mr. Spokesperson. I go tell you say 50 to 60% na under 5s. I they tell you this without any hesitation. Go and prove me well. I want you to take this message go. Under 5s, na then them birthday. What's in the happen to we under 5 picking them? When you go na the health centers, government gets a very good initiative of free health care. But how free is this health care? The issues surrounding the free health care. I intercept one belle woman. He say, you know, they go clinic, they go to one mommy for get continue medicine. What's he do? He say, Auntie Doris, where I go to hospital? For check me BP, then say I for pay 2,000. Money business. Me man not a work. Myself, na patch granates at the cell. Usa I go to pull all this money for go pay, then demand send they na the health center. The issue of maternal mortality. We ambulances for referral cases. We they suffer. As I they talk, me your maid wa gets. Day before yesterday, in Grand Picking sick, na taxi ichata, where they refer for can cottage. Lastly, one of we donors, we champion the cause of the fight against Ebola, na the Western Area Rural District, Wealth Hunger Healthy, WHH for short. Then donate one big ambulance, just the size as almost the minibuses. Mr. Spokesman, the last time where the people of Western Area Rural District set eyes on that ambulance, now the time where presidents be go around, we talk to we. He even tell we say Watalona we they manufacture Ebola. Then go na Ernest and Mini Stadium for go present the ambulance to them. From that day, the people of the district don't ever set eyes on that ambulance. And the person where drive the ambulance go, now somebody where they work with the coordinator for Western Rural, Madam Zulai Cooper. Me don't call him on 3 occasions. I don't ask him for that ambulance. He said the ambulance say Kabbalah, it they Cambia, it they Wokri. We be they look at and say, after Ebola, that ambulance go there, now the Watalo Health Center for serve the purpose. As they talk, that ambulance, we don't know whereabouts. And the people of Western Area Rural District, then want that ambulance and they cry for them.
Thank you
very much.
The issue of health, outside a day, inside the agenda for prosperity, availability.
Madam mentioned something very interesting. Before April 2010, when you look at the number of Pekin them, they die, and the one that we get belay, it's so alarming that government say, you know what's in, law we introduce the free healthcare initiative. The issue we mentioned is a fact. For say, you dey go hospital Sunday, people and they even ask for say you for pay. Well, it also speaks to one thing. As Sierra Leoneans, other countries, they don't get free health care. America, if you don't get insurance, you die. People in the come out America for Canada, who say me they for go get just that green card because the way you sick, and like na for change your whole body, na free. So if we as a small country, we dip and try, then it speaks to the attitude again of we very Sierra Leoneans. How you go see your belle woman come? Take and say this na your sister. Take and say it can be your mama. Then where you go for 2,000 leons, you say you know they treat them. Government not go able to go now hospital for go day 24/7. You they delegate, you get the doctors them, you get the nurses them, and the nurses them and doctors them. Where they say government not to for say now we versus them. Now we all. So let people also take responsibility. We don't challenge. You just see about this issue about bribery. Bribery in a two-way street. If me go take national ID card, you tell me say I know they pay 12,000, I for pay 20,000, and they call a report. When you report, at the end of the day, if one person do am, two person do am, would they change? Now that make I want support Andrew Lavalley where he talk about truth. When they talk about truth, like where Honorable Sidonaya, they don't tell una say Wilkinson Road na 29 million. Then he go on tell you say, then just don't approve back other money for other road. Me, anything I not believe in at the commodity. I know the day inside it. When then they write the history, then go exonerate and say, in the course of deliberating something we not believe in, he resign. Now that there's small look today, then they tell and say get integrity in this country.
All right. Thank you very much, Andrew Lavalley.
Thank you very much. I think say, you know, Mr. Berite, let government begin for own some of them problems there. That will go get solution. Since 2011, now then do the last public expenditure tracking survey. Because that expenditure tracking survey, now they inform government, say that money what they take for healthcare, for education, for water and sanitation. Now so then they spend them, now so then they use them. There you go know about that problem the way Doris they talk about. If the Ministry of Finance know they do that, they after today, Lord tell them let them do pets. They have been doing it. They have been tracking expenditure. How government go to spend, you know, they track. Because now only way you get that pets document, the pets they talk say, what alone they get this so this not we know they get a, not a workshop talk down there. Now government policy for say them for do pets. So now the number one thing that they.
All right, lack out elaborating inside the issue of pets. You know. The issue of pets.
Pets, we don't they go on.
Yes, but don't stop.
Eventually, the Ministry of Health, as part of a ministry, way for take responsibility, then get their own monitoring mechanism where they put in place.
So pets not get for go on again?
Whether it get for go on or not, I just tell you, say pets been there at the Ministry of Finance, where then they use a tracking. But for now, that responsibility they within the Ministry of Health and Sanitation. Whether then they go take them back and send them back to finance, I cannot say that here authoritatively.
So the health, Madam Weber, you talk about the ambulance. You see, very important. Yesterday at the Parliament, they try for scrutinize last year's expenditure for the entire country. And one thing we stand out clear, I'm not going to call the ministry, but we asked, we say why ambulances were meant for hospitals all over the country, pack na UU building. And now make a tell you now, this ambulance, if you come on and now go UU building, you might see and they. A pack they not up because they don't want distributor. Okay, the officials tell we clear say the problem na fuel. Let me imagine. Now fuel they make we kumbrade, we bele woman and for continue for that.
So this make account the question of waiting how waiting the government can prioritize. Because, like, for example, I just watch now the internet where I see something from Tanzania, then president, cancel a particular dinner where for cause almost $100, million, $25 million, when I just, dinner, then cut it down to 4 million and reduce some of the other things them, and decide for go to the hospital, buy bed and other things them, for let it then go on. So how will they prioritize things them, and how they know say this is not important to the cities in their life? Abdullah Beriti.
Thank you. When governments, they develop a budget, when government, they come with allocations, they look at, one, the returns where they come up from the ministries within a particular budget year. Then we look at the challenges them. Then when we send them to Parliament in an appropriation bill, Parliament, they scrutinize them. They will tell you, say, what's in this area, you need more money. It's just even Parliaments where they reduce their money, then say it's small and for increase for them. Then say because then we're able to monitor for they go around. So you see, within the circumstance of very limited resources and competing interests, all man within the state, one ministry will tell you, say, your budget now 2 billion. Other ministry will tell you, say, 20 billion. Parliament use forget a lot, then reduce them, then say, well, they don't make the no one, they don't able to do their work. So within that, Parliament, they come is scrutinized for say, okay, you know what, Lord, we give priority now, Sunday can come, then go even realign the priority where government suggests. So that's so they run a state.
Honorable, I see the shake head, no.
I shake my head because there is limitation to waiting, Mr. Beriti, they say.
So make it clear.
It's not like that, yeah? You see, in other countries, now the ideal situation, I don't say so. Parliament, now they pass the appropriation bill. In other words, now Parliament, they make budget the world over. But in Sierra Leone, it's not like that.
Right.
Parliament, it make one budget now Sierra Leone in matter of need. I tell you, in the Constitution of Sierra Leone, there is a section where they call Section 111. When are the financial provisions of Sierra Leone? And in that financial provision, it is very clear. Say Parliament cannot increase, realign, or look at any priority area. Like how President and in Cabinet sit down, they make the budget. Now so they pass na Parliament. Because by the Constitution, Parliament not get right for touch that budget. The only way Parliament can do, matter in budget processing. Now for look at the previous year in expenditure, for believe say that money will be given, for example, 2015. Because they now work on 2016 budget, that you be use the money correctly. Okay. That is all Parliament they do. But for say Parliament get the right for increase, for switch over priority areas, it's not like that. Right. May I tell you one thing, like the Parliament of Ethiopia, very recently drought take place in Ethiopia. Now routine, annual stuff. Yeah? So many chunk of money been there where government been already put for roads. Because of the drought, government cancelled the roads. Because that's not a priority at that time. And say, make we take them on here, send them to drought, and try for save the people's life. And we they expect, say, for be the same as Sierra Leone. We're not there against roads. But if you don't build roads, they get priority areas. Look, Mr. Lavalibin, they tell you, say, 9% of domestic income, where they come in to Sierra Leone, now they spend on 4 sectors. They would spend on roads and infrastructure so much because of kickbacks.
All right.
And it's not correct.
I'll take another question.
Yeah. Me na Mama Mansari. I represent Sierra Leone Union on Disability Issues. I give thanks to public media or BBC media. We give you the opportunity for facing them, people are able to talk to them. Normally, when it get in terms of election, we all equal as Sierra Leone because we vote they all not equal. But when it comes to any issue of distribution of benefits, we the disabled can look like say we not useful. Well, I'll take for small example. The government procure buses in this country. They look at how other countries then they live their lives, say, okay, government get both them. And then they go out and they see how disabled they treat them nicely with high respect. But here they know they treat with any kind of respect. The buses all of them bring camp. They don't even think, say, disabled and they were useful in this country, where they contribute in this country. They not pull single one. When we ready for go, on the bus then they go able to tell you, say, it don't flop. Hey, they come up. Think of the one that get wheelchair out in the strain. Again, if you think of any other development in this country, la una the mamida, una the people take along the entire country, Sakasivi Street, Panemba Road, anywhere, if they see beggar man, they disabled people then we say we country they grow. How will they grow? We know they grow. We the disabled, we know they grow. We they suffer every day. When you look at side for the dog, where can I and net? Who some of now they get chance opportunity. They were another car and net. Security reason go be the car and net. But una where the car and net. Somebody on a disabled na pantapi wheelchair na in a room na everything. If they continue for become more disabled because the government of Sierra Leone they add disability into beyond disability. And for that we become non-disabled, not because of me deformity make me disabled. Now the government of Sierra Leone they add disability in we. It comes in the area of education. Then we they suffer. When it comes to the area of employment, then they look and say they know they create employment. If the government know they make ways where private sectors will employ we, how the private sector will consider say we are useful. Some of you don't go school. We just don't waste. We go school for be a role model to copy disabled. Let them see say, though this man is disabled, but he's educated, he's employed. But here are we continue.
All right.
Take today they suffer.
Thank you very much. Let's take another question.
Thank you very much. Mina Marie Samora from Bambratong Women's Organization. Now, I feel say the agenda of prosperity, I don't know if you know reach na education. I been wish the education minister go there na ya. If you know they see, even where the government say pay money for the girl child them, for let them all go school. But I tell you, the big government schools and the things then where they go on there, it's too dangerous. If I for less supervisors then like first them, then they visit schools. For any side where the government drop money, the government for fend supervisors then for they go supervise. The schools then now don't left with money. Even the girl child then when they pay school fees for where the government they spend pan. They're not they allow them, the teachers then get one slogan say, keep your sense for government exams. Where you in a class, you for pay for assignments. If the girl child not get money, where he go do? So we they fed with the grassroots women them. We really money where they fend. All they go and picking in our school because every day teacher wants every day, and if you not do one, you they fail. You let them complain and say they not be seen. So we don't know if corruption not they reach there. Do you have Papa spokesman who they beg you?
Somebody asked a question on the transportation. I'm very sorry, my brother. You see, Saturday term where they do things now the state, let's be truthful. We all don't say that. Yeah? But the truth of the matter is you guys are not treated with priority. Yeah? And I feel so bad. I wish I been get opportunity or be placed for make sure say equalization of opportunities take place. But you're not treated. When them bosses here come, we invite the minister to parliament and ask them, you say them bosses here are customized bosses. Did you customize them for take into play persons who are physically challenged? He said, we will not be take that into consideration. So meaning even in terms of planning, you are not captured. But that's an unfortunate thing. Each of them bosses here, look at the document. I have the contract. I also get this document and call the executive clearance from president. Here I'm not going to make it available to anybody because in a state document it is restricted. But to the contract, you begin to imagine under wastages how you go buy 21-seater bus for 374 million leons. How you go buy another bus when are the biggest bus for 689 million leons. How you go buy the medium bus for 520 million leons. This now the wastages all the talk. Now the matter the anti-corruption. Anti-corruption they investigate, but I assure you, now above case. Now, coming to the issue of schools, we'll talk about subsidies. Yeah, Mama, school system not they go on well because I they tell you now, me not insider, so I will tell you the reality. School subsidies, as I see it, would they go to third term, they not pay second term school subsidies yet. How the headmasters, how the principals, they run the schools. How they go run the schools? Come to ministries, big ministries, year in, year out to the appropriate money for them. Then they allocate money for them. They're not a getter. Take the Ministry of Youth and Sport. All the noise what they cause in the country, we not trust where they are they tell you now. Government, they appropriate money. Parliament, they pass that money. Not even up to half of that money, they reach the ministry. So all the programs where the ministry go down set, now they become reality. So now that make most times, where they blame the ministries, and not allow the shift blame. Government, not they give the ministries the money for carry on the agenda where they don't set themselves. Now you finally ask me on issue of how I go assess the agenda for prosperity. Now Mr. Berete say, then go achieve within these next 2 years. I want to say it's not possible because of 2 reasons. Number one, the agenda for prosperity is a 30-year document. And nobody not go set himself a 30-year task and achieve that inside 10 years. Pass you want to be a magician or until you get your way where you do it. But
I think a clarification there is, I said within the time in government.
If you they do them now, I ask you a question, whether you feel say within these 2 years, you go achieve them. Now, we're not going to achieve it at all. It is a 30-year document, and because of that, governments will come and contribute. To me, the agenda for prosperity for B, what we call the Sierra Leone agenda. It's not for be a political party agenda. All what me and you for do, now that when we they come, me and you for tell the people of Sierra Leone which kind of method we can use for contribute to that agenda.
All right.
But when you take the agenda for prosperity, you make a party document. That is where the problem starts. That is not a party document. It is a Sierra Leonean document, and therefore each and every person in Sierra Leone get the right for contributor. We're not going to achieve it within these 2 years. We're not going to achieve it within 20 years because it is a 30-year document.
The agenda for prosperity is not a party document. Law not miss me inform the public. The agenda for prosperity is a national document.
I said, don't make it. I'm not telling you.
So I'm just clarifying.
Fine.
I am
don't
also,
make it a party document.
Don't make it, and it is
don't
not.
Make it because they are now indicators.
You know
that
why
you
not
are
be a
making
party
it
document?
A party document.
Okay, we continue the discussion. Let's bring in Andrew Lavalley.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me just clarify. There was a veiled attack on me in civil society anyway. I mean, a think tank. There was a veiled attack. Say some people in the disguise, they kill itself. Get party affiliation. They take civil society position. Me work in this country now for put government on the toes. And how would they put government on the toes? Then loopholes and they will inside government. Me work now for expose them. Who expose them are the better, you the better. If you take down there for me, UDM for me one day, no political party, no talk say me, na executive member or me na this member, na any political party. One day, from one day university, I go study abroad. One day, me work now for put Sierra Leone at the center and critique them. Where SLPP dysfunctional, we wrote a paper say it's a dysfunctional. And party dysfunctional, nobody no go put them care and them trust. And until they gather themselves together, no Sierra Leone no go watch at SLPP say it's an alternative government system. You understand? So that one day, Mr. Berete, where you come part the discussions of this country, let us be sincere, let us put this country at the heart. The second thing where they talk about, the agenda for prosperity, ask the question about the agenda for prosperity. Agenda for prosperity in a $5.6 billion document. Government not get the money for financing. You not get all the money for financing. It gets some of the money. There was a financing gap of 2.2 billion in a day. In fact, at a point in time, we wrote a paper, we will not publish them. We say, government, if you do X, Y, Z, you go able to finance that gap there. Right now, one of the things I just a whisper to Mr. Berete, I say, why not do a revenue audit? Like how them be audit that Ebola fund. Clearly, at the height of Ebola, at that time, cynically, people in the talk say, life expectancy in Sierra Leone was 21 days. So when they say, now so the money to go, everybody been getting interest in seeing how that is going. If you do a revenue audit now, you go see a lot of ministries that will get interest in seeing how that revenue audit they come out, because are they going to go get money? Who knows if the ceiling will they get safe, say now 200 million would they get per day, if the ceiling not pass that one day, if not to 400 million would they get. So until and unless you get a revenue audit, we're not going to finance the agenda for prosperity properly. The second thing we are going to clarify, lastly, this whole idea of tribalism. I see both my colleagues on the panel, but they talk about tribalism. You know, it's not tribalism. I they tell you that tribalism not this alone, yeah? Me we sit down here, me wife na Timini, me na Southerner. Upikine, I like them so much. Na crossbreed. President Nkrumah in Wef, a common akono. Samora Kama in Wef, na Mende. So, no tribalism, no day. You know what's in this country, yeah? If we fight 4 days, then give we 4 million leons to me. They are called one person. I say, but they don't give 2 million leons. So. Not to avoid the disclosure. He say, they don't give 2 million leons. So. He say, but Lord can't wait to say, Lord go shame him. You understand, eh? So he say, but Lord go tell them, say, now 1 million. Then until they shape first that 500,000. You understand, eh? So that means now 1 million that they go shape. Now that's not tribalism.
All right.
Now that there is no tribalism in Sierra Leone. So lastly, whether the attitude, whether the agenda for prosperity it get for achieve, I think say now for left that question there to the stone breakers them. A lot of them they see them on the streets. Now for left that question there to the child beggars. That child beggar now for ask whether the agenda for prosperity, because me as far as me concerned, me don't prosper. Yeah. I don't need any agenda for prosperity document. So now for that we say, Lord, invest in education, invest in healthcare, Lord, turn people and story around. I not give any grade, but ask them people and then we'll give you an individual grades. Then thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The agenda for prosperity with the left hand to people, because it's not a human development, document.
Thank you, and that was exactly what I said. That the people can evaluate. That is the whole essence of democracy. But one thing is, when we come public, sometimes they become too appetizing to the mic that they make very generalized statements. Lord, we guide with statements, and because the purpose of this conversation is to see how government can take some of these views and relate them, and they can be translated into a policy formulation for let we country continue for go before. I think to me that's very important. Now that make at the end of the day, all the observations, whether you indict government, whether you say homeless people in there, I know you can begin compare, say, you know what, even America, you get beaucoup people in a park that they sleep, they don't get it for it. Past people sorry for them, give them. Within we own society, we get beaucoup natural resources them. At the end of the day, we still they manage a population of 6 million. Toronto no more alone, the population about 6 million. But we get electricity 24/7, water 24/7. So why we naya?
Okay.
We just that city. Now that make this conversation, the questions them where una ask them very important. I don't record them. I go feed them. Disability issues, education, health, so that at the end of the day, when we take policies, I go say, I go na this program, these are the issues that came up. But one thing we may not go do, I know can't say, any matter where they before the court or any institution, I say, I already prejudge them. I will never do that.
Thank you very much. Well, now that's all we end the program for today. We're not going to take everybody for ask question because we'll go there for the rest of the day before we go. But plenty thank you for all long can join me inside the program. Now the panel I've been given library we can talk for the government. I will also get Andrew Lavalley from IGR and Honorable Parantawali from opposition party in the parliament. This program also now the UK Department for International Development give funding support for making meet you. My name is Ali Usise. Una thank you.
Then we find a beautiful solution how for develop we nation. Yes. Now the program be so Mama Tok Bot Salone. You don't say we be they cry. Yes. We want for see we country rise. Yes. Salone man let we wise up and put we country first. True. No ask what is Salone don't do for you. But ask yourself what you don't do for Salone. Young contribution, think help for change situation. So let we blow we mind, talk what's wrong and do what's right. Let we debate, this not the time we put things right. No more tribalism, yes. No more nepotism, yes. Say no to corruption, no more police.